There's actually a whole book written on this subject. It's called The Art of the Paper Cone. And paper cone has been around for centuries now, or however long they've been making them. But they're very classic. I'm gonna make mine rather small. And the way I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna take a piece of parchment and I'm just gonna cut it in half. The way I cut it in half is I take my knife right into a nice clean fold, and I go right through it with the knife. If you don't have a chef's knife with you, you can always use one of mine. Mine are pretty sharp. I don't keep them razor sharp. I really should, but I don't. So I'm gentle and I'm really careful to get a good clean cut. I've got two halves. Okay, so I can make 4 triangles with this. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go corner to corner next. So that is a little confusing for some. But corner to corner. This makes 2 perfectly identical triangles. And you can actually buy these triangles already cut for you from the factory. They cost a little more, but basically it's just a right triangle, right? Just like you ever take geometry? Yeah. You ever do a 30, 60, 90? And all the theorems and postulates that went with that? Yeah. Bad memories from 10th grade. I know. For me it was 10th grade.
11 and 12. Yeah.
It was bad memories. Trigonometry was even worse. I had to take all those courses.
No, advanced math became calculus.
I had to take calculus. Well, I didn't have to take calculus. I was dumb enough at the time to take it on my own for fun. And
oh man, you totally just screwed that up.
Even my advisor said, "What are you thinking?" What I did here, you'll notice that Sarah's mentioning I didn't get it quite perfect corner to corner. It's a little off. But the more important thing in making your triangles is that this edge, the long edge of your triangle, is a clean cut. Because that's going to be part of your tip of your piping bag. So if it's not clean, if it's ragged, it's going to create a ragged edge on the tip of your piping bag. So you don't want a ragged edge. You want a clean little edge. So the cleaner we can cut this, the better. And that's not perfectly clean. I try to get it clean as much as I can. The cleaner you have it, the more of a pleasurable, relaxing experience your piping will be. So how do we make these? Well, in a little while I'm going to probably do more and more demos of this all through the class. That's why I'm doing it right now, because I want you to kind of see it, and then I'll come around and do one-on-one with you guys, because you'll need this. I usually start my triangle. I'm right-handed, so I start with the right triangle, the right angle on my right. Okay, so I start with the 90-degree angle on my right, and I'm going to take this corner, and I'm going to wrap it around and make a cone, just like that, a little cone. I'm going to take the last tail here, and I'm going to wrap it around the body of that cone about 1.5 times until it forms something of a cone. And you'll notice what I also did was I changed my hand position. I put my fingers on the inside and my thumb on the outside. Then by sliding the paper against itself, by pulling it up on the outside, pushing it on the inside, you'll notice the tip gets extremely fine. Now I can make it all loose again, but if you just slide the paper, it gets a needle tip on the end. That's going to give you a beautiful, sharp writing device. And you'll be able to write with this, write beautiful script and lettering and so forth with that. Now that I've got it there, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hold it with my hand. I'm just going to take this tail that's left, fold it on the inside, and lock it in place. Now, a lot of people will be asking me for tape. I'll warn you, I don't have any masking tape up here. Tape is cheating. Okay? We don't do that. We don't use tape. No, of course not. We're going to find a way to do this correctly. So there it is, paper cone. Really simple to make. And you can make them rather quickly once you get used to it. You make your cone, you wrap it around, you slide your paper, make a fine tip, hold it in your hand, and crease it. Now what can you do with that? Well, we've got some piping gel here. I'm going to give you each some piping gel today, or you'll take some piping gel with you. It starts off clear, but I color it with a little bit of brown food coloring so that you'll be able to see it better.
This is just for looks, it's not eating.
You can eat it. It's edible. I mean, it's basically... I'll warn you that cats like this stuff. It's basically made of corn syrup, sugar, agar, which is a thickener. And then it has tartaric acid, a little bit of benzoate of soda, and potassium sorbate for preservatives. But other than that, it's edible. What I'm going to do is put a little bit of this in my piping bag. You don't need a lot. I just need about a couple teaspoons in here to start doing the job. And that's about all I need. Because if I fill it up too much, I'm just going to have a difficult time working with it. So I just want to get enough in there so it'll do the job. For that much, that little bit of piping gel, I can do my whole homework project. Now, I've got one side here that has a seam. I don't know if you can see that seam. But that seam, I want to have that on one side. I want it to stay close to the surface. I don't want it to get billowed out. I don't want it to bubble. So the way I'm going to prevent that from bubbling is I'm going to... I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to fold this up like a roll of toothpaste. Okay? What I'm doing, you'll notice though, is I'm folding this away from my seam. My seam is on this side. Okay, so I'm going to roll it up the other direction. I'm going to fold it over a couple times, the corners, roll it up like a nice tight roll of toothpaste. And this is your piping bag. Yeah, it sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? It's like, huh, how do you do that? Well, I'm going to cut off a little tiny bit of this to make a tiny hole in the end. Here's my homework board. And all I have on here is letters. Now this is just like 3rd grade. Remember 3rd grade? Right? It even has little arrows showing you which way to go. Okay? I remember doing this in 2nd grade and trying to learn to master a pencil for the first time. This is going to be a lot like that. Learning to remaster a new tool. It can be quite challenging. If you're going to do your homework, you're going to want to write your name on it. So let me write my name on it. Let me test it and make sure it's going to work first. There it goes. Now you notice I lift it up away from the surface.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty cool.
You get better curves if you lift it up off the surface. And you can see I just wrote chef. You know. And
You're really good.
If you do really slow and careful, you'll get really nice letters.
And I keep my sleeves.
Well, having a little color in it really helps you see it. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to take this, I'm going to place it down on the surface to get it stuck to the surface. And after I start squeezing, I'm going to lift it away. I'm going to try following the letter A here. I'm trying to just follow the lines. Now I got to the end of the first loop of that A, and I'm just going to do the tail of it now. I'm going to lift it away, touch, and make a little curve. Turn it off your cell phones. Put them on vibrate.
That was magical. Somebody would give a cat.
Everyone give a cat.
At least it didn't meow and not be in the
Now you'll notice the way I pipe. You know, what I do is I'm using my right hand to do this because I'm right-handed. But I'm just put my left hand on here to hold me steady. That's all I'm doing with my left hand. It's just steadying it. I'm just using it as a brace. It's sort of like when you're trying to walk on something that's very narrow and you feel like you're losing your balance. You ever notice you just touch something? It doesn't even matter if it's stable or not. It makes you feel better. You know? So like if you're ever trying to walk a tightrope or a balance beam or something like that, or trying to walk across a board, across a stream, if you even touch a rope, it doesn't even have to be stable. Just touch it. It psychologically